Well, welcome to More Tarot. I have a channeled message for the collective, which also includes me, of course. How old do you think, now if you sit back when you were younger, right? How old were you when you learned that not everything was about you? I think, we get to that age where we fight over toys or, we start to say that mine and things like that. How old do you think it is a kid would be when they realize that it's not necessarily that they were taught that, hey, you need to share, but they felt the need to share? Like they could feel how it would feel if someone did that to them, right? And so they would help others. When did we get there? What age? And what happens when we get older? Do we get hurt? Betrayed? To where that regard for other human beings begins to lessen and we don't really care how the other person feels because, maybe in some of our minds that we think, well, they'd do that to us, so why not? I'm doing what's good for me, right? This was a very strong message. And I get these sometimes. I'm sure we all do. But I was going to meditate and do a reading, but instead this hit me out of nowhere. And what hit me the hardest was this 8 of Wands here. When I see this, I see fast communication, I see movement, but the message was completely different. In fact, it fell out of the deck. Purposely, right? Because when I see it now, I see war. I see people throwing things at each other and fighting. I see that we can stop it on a collective level if we change how we're throwing it. So, for example, I want you to look. This was a very intense channeling, so you're going to have to get over the fact that I am indulging in a cigarette, okay? I'll get over it when I decide to. Now, look at the branches on here, little leaves and things, right? If we continue to throw these wands to whomever disagrees with us, God forbid, right? We all lose. But instead to take these wands and throw them with growth and love. It's a little difficult given the times that we're in. And whether or not the collective or you or whomever is relating to this, whether or not you believe in the divine or God, Jesus, whomever, right? Or evil, right? Or both. Those kind of things exist whether or not many people want to admit it, or I really don't care. The thing is, there's darkness and there's light. And darkness loves darkness, you see. And the more the darkness can get you to cut off those branches and those leaves and anything that has any possibility of growth, like, I don't know, burning Starbucks down, burning neighborhoods down to make a message, we all miss the point. Now, I'll get some people probably upset with me, I'm sure, because sometimes the lies we're told about how only violence can fix this, right? Only tearing everything down and starting over will fix it. But that's never worked. It may work in whatever class you're hearing this. I don't know. I mean, I don't even watch the media anymore. I don't even trust the Weather Channel, to tell you what. Ever since I've really awakened, and many like myself, for many years we don't even watch the news. We research on our own because there is always an agenda behind whatever news channel. I don't care if you're watching Fox or MSNBC. I don't care. There's an agenda because dark likes dark and light likes light. It's whether or not you believe it, it's irrelevant. It exists around you regardless. So whatever you're being told is deception of how this destruction will stop. If we look at Jesus Christ, for example, whether or not you believe in Jesus is irrelevant as well, because Jesus didn't kill a bunch of people to get a message of love across. He didn't kill a bunch of people to bring all kinds of different cultures and stuff together for years and years and years and years. He didn't have to hurt anybody. He didn't have to burn anything down. All he did was talk outside of the norm of what everybody expected. He made a difference. Rosa Parks stood up and refused to sit where they told her to sit. There are messages more powerful than war. The sad thing is many are deceived, and many will have to defend themselves from those that want war. And I think that's what makes the divine so sad, so disappointed. We've come so far, but yet we've fallen back so much. If you look at this here, soul comes from the base chakra. What is the base chakra when it's out of alignment, right? Talks about survival, talks about fear, safety, insecurity. This is all coming from that. You know, you've got one side that's about to kill another side because they don't want, they see it as they're going to come and take their things. They're going to hurt them, and they have reason to believe that. The other side sees that they're oppressed. They've seen things that, in their perspective, is horrific. And they think if they don't stop it, they'll continue down that road. You have two bumping heads against each other. We can't even come in the freaking middle here. And we're supposed to be civilized, right? Interesting. So, well, the Empress, fertility, fell out. And I think this is all about growth within the heart chakra. Because in the end, yeah, maybe we do save this country, right? Maybe we stop all the violence and everybody comes together. But if it continues down this, when does the war stop? And will it ever? Right? What are we growing here for the people that matter? Yeah, we might have some cool stuff on our headstone there, right? Fought in this civil war, right? But we miss our children. We miss the ones that love us. And I feel like that's kind of what the divine wants us to see. Sometimes you can make more of a difference pushing out those messages of love and forgiveness and understanding than you ever could by just completely eliminating someone. It's through education. It's through coming together. We got a couple ones here. And again, I think that this comes from fear. That's why it's at the bottom. Then you've got love begins. Get rid of that fear by changing how you look around you. Try to understand both sides. find out who's pulling the strings, right? Darkness likes darkness. Light wants to pull into the light, right? Maybe this isn't necessarily about who wins. Maybe it's about who can be saved on both sides. Because you have to understand, no matter which side you're on, one can always learn from another. There were times where we didn't know how to read or walk or anything. We didn't know everything. But we listened, we learned, and we grew, right? So we could teach others, right? And see how they're coming together. It's glary, but they're pouring the water. They're overflowing it in love. Because they're beginning it here instead of fighting, see? Because if we can do that, if we can send messages this way, rather than threatening to kill each other every 15 seconds, we can come together. And I never noticed this until I got this message. You see how they're all celebrating? It's ridiculous. I've had these cards for a super long time, but they're all rejoicing. They're all like hanging out. It's a partnership, right? But it's all within the biggest chalice there, see? Because in the end, we all have souls. And in the end, we're all part of who made us, the divine. Whether or not you choose to believe it, we are all that together. No matter where we come from, no matter what we're disagreeing about. Here, I see the universe and I see the divine. I see the divine looking at us. And I see the divine swirling around here. Whatever the heck we're manifesting here, hatred, greed, selfishness, right? Narcissism, which is quite a bit. A lack of empathy for mankind is what will keep happening until we wake up. We manifest this, we can have a beautiful outcome, no matter our differences. But I think it's really about cutting the strings. We can no longer be puppets. We are no one's puppet on either side of any of this. Because in the end, we're soul beings. We have spirit in us. We need to come together. And not everybody's going to. There's always one, you know? However, there will be enough if we come together that we can change this as a collective. All right, guys. That's all I got. Take care. Bye.